What is up, guys? Josh from Cardfight Empire here today, and we are back again after a week or so break. I've had a lot of stuff going on, guys, and actually, I was gonna release this video earlier today, but I had a really rough situation with my mom where she ended up going to the hospital on Mother's Day. Imagine that. So that was pretty unfortunate, but yeah, aside from all that sad stuff, we are back for another Future Fight today. We're going to be covering Altmile today, the Altmile from G-BT10. Now, I think this deck is pretty good, and you'll see like how my choices influence how good or bad the deck is, in my opinion. Just because I played it my playstyle and it worked out perfectly. Like, the whole reason that I thought Brave was not my type of deck slash bad is because it doesn't do things I like to do, like keep advantage and stuff like that. It mostly just multi-attacked, and then if you failed during your multi-attack, you just kind of lose. So that's the reason why I didn't like it before, but now things have changed for it with some of the new additions to the deck. So some you'll get to see me use, some you won't, because the game doesn't last that long, which is unfortunate. But you know, if the game doesn't last that long, like, who needs it? Um, but a few things that I want to mention before we get into the video is so as soon as my Patreon starts catching on or whatnot, I'm gonna have a thing on there where my videos will be. You'll be able to see my videos a week ahead. If you are one of my Patreon thing, you can go to my Patreon page down in the description below for more information. And as soon as the first person that does that happens, then my videos will be shifted a week backwards. Um, because the people that will be my patrons will see them a week ahead of everyone else, and then everyone else will see them a week later. So just be aware of that, and it's like a kind of, if you want to support, do. If you don't. I will not, no hard feelings. But anyways, with that being said, let's get right into the deck. So going not into the deck editor. Oh my gosh. It's been so long since I did this. Alright, so we're in the testing zone. So let's flip up our G units. Alright. Let's actually restart area. Because I'm not sure why it's not showing the pictures on the side for you guys. I think people like seeing the enlarged pictures, so if they don't see the name of the unit, that they can still see the what the unit does and the ability and whatnot. But I don't know, it's still not doing it. That's weird. Alright, we'll just do it like this then. Alright, so we are currently unflipping the G units again. And then let's get right onto the main deck. So first we have Knight of Heavenly Decree Altmile. So this is the brand new Altmile, and I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but the brand new Altmile is, in comparison to the old one, very, very good. It gives you a very solid GB2 skill, which is GB2 Brave. When this unit attacks, choose up to 5 of your rear guards, and they gain plus 4,000 power. So it's not 5,000, so it doesn't change a whole guard stage, but when you're giving plus 4,000 to the front and back row, sometimes it can change 2 guard stages. If you're like at 18k, then it goes to 26, and so on and so forth. So most of the time it changes 1 or 2 guard stages, depending on what number you are exactly. Then it has at the beginning of the ride phase, you can choose 1 card from your hand, call it to the rear guard circle, and that unit gets plus 4,000 power. And then it has an on-stride skill that says choose a card from your hand, call it to rear guard, and then choose one of your units with a Brave ability and give it 4k power. So the first ability, beginning of rise phase, can call anything, gets 4k power, the unit that's called. Second ability, you don't have to call anything, but you do have to choose a Brave unit. So both abilities have their own little, like, things to them. But yeah, ultimately it's very, very good. You should be riding it at all times. If you can't, we always have the old Altmile, Knight of Blue Heavens Altmile. Um, Pretty mediocre in comparison to the new one, but you can still ride it if you need to for the Altmile name. Uh, Basically, this one is GB2. All your units in your front row get plus 5k, so not as strong as the other GB2. And then when you stride, you have to counterblast one and give two of your units, or you don't have to, but in order to use the skill, you have to counterblast one, choose two of your units. You can call two, that's like a plus, but you can choose two separate rear guards and they get plus 5k power. So I prefer to use my counterblast on other things, so it's like I don't really like riding him, and I think thankfully during the test I didn't have to ride him, so that's good. We played 3 Red On. Red On's very, very good. It's like a, I really only use him for his first ability, which is give 3k to all the other units in your front row, besides him. So, he basically just gives them a stride Altmile skill. That's like the easiest way I can think about it. Then we have Knight of Enlightenment Albion. Albion is like the new, oh sorry, I skipped Slayman. So we have 4 Slaymans. Slayman is one of the Altmile specific grade 2s. When you are brave and you have Altmile in your Vanguard's name, it gets plus 3000 power, so it's a 12k attacker. And then when you attack, you can actually counterblast one and discard a card from your hand. And then when this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you have Altmile in its card name, you can pay the cost. And if you do, you can call a grade 2 to the field that's not Slayman, and the unit that got called gets 2k power, which is very strong. Then we have 3 Red-Ons, basically gives 3k to the front row, and it can boost if you choose to discard a card. It also gives 3k itself. So for those of you that are worried about like, oh, well, what if my Red-On can attack? You know, he gets 3k on call. So we run 3 Albion. Albion's like I was saying before, it's like the new Slayman, except you just counterblast one, soul blast one, and this is when it attacks a Vanguard in general. It's not brave. But you do have to call a brave ability off of its skill, so you usually find yourself calling like Slayman or really any brave card. Slayman or Red-On are like my main targets. So then we run 2 Sage of Salvation Venon. I know that's the English name, even though the Jap name says something different right here. You're basically using your deck to call your Knight of Power Charge. Very, very good card for the early game rush and getting some damage in on your opponent. We have 4 support Warlock of Damascus, so you can retire this unit at the end of your turn if you're brave, and then draw a card and countercharge 2. So it's basically Sonic Gall, Damascus, whatever you want to run. I like this card because it's better looking in my opinion. 4 Hope Keeper. When they're placed on rearguard and you're brave, they get 2k power, and then you can counterblast one at the end of the turn and return them to your hand. Very, very good if you want to search a PG with like your Brave Lancer. So then we have 4 Stride Fodders, pretty standard. 2 Knight of Power Charge. Now this card puts in so much work with this build, just because you can bind your entire hand with Knight of Power Charge, and then be in Brave, like for the rest of your turn. And then in the case of Brave Lancer, you can bind your whole hand, and when you attack with Brave Lancer, you already don't have a hand, so you can just call 3 free units, and they usually give you hand advantage, the cards that are called. So then at the end of the turn, you just get all your cards back, draw a card, and you get to draw 3 cards and add a PG sometimes, so that's really good. We run 1 Electos. It's basically the newest Brave starter. It has a really good ability that's counterblast 1 and put this unit into the soul at the beginning of each battle phase, meaning that you can do it during your battle phase or your opponent's battle phase. Then you can draw a card, and all the brave abilities of your cards will be active. Now, I feel like I'll get a lot of questions on this, but I feel like it's always better to activate Electos during your turn, but it could be useful for like say Egrain, if you think that you need to live on your opponent's next turn, like they have a lot of aggression, maybe use it on your opponent's turn so that you can always be brave and your G Guardian will get its brave power, which is 5,000 shield, which can come in handy, you never know. But then we run 4 Bellinas, the Altmile crit, 4 Golgites, another vanilla crit trigger, and then we run 4 Salgol. So Salgol is the Brave Stand trigger, and when it's placed on Rearguard Circle, at the end of the turn, you draw a card and you return this unit to the deck and you shuffle. So basically, you can't draw Salgol off, or you can't draw the same Salgol off of itself, which makes it really good, meaning that you'll always have stands in your deck. And that in itself is good because you have a lot of strides to give your rear guards power in the front row. So extra attacks is always good. And then Salgo can also be called off of Holy Dragon, Brave Lancer Dragon. And they can just, if you call 3, they can just draw you 3 cards at the end of the turn. And then you get your hand back from Power Charge, and then you draw another 1 card. So it's pretty good. Then we have Knight of Pretty Sword, it's 4 heals. So then we have, for the G-Zone, I'll enlarge this since you guys can't see the actual name. Hopefully you guys can see this, I don't know how small it is. But, so then we run 2 Brave Lancer Dragon, Generation Break 3, when this unit attacks, you can counterboss 1, and then you search 3 cards with a Brave ability, you call them to rearguard, and then you choose a card from your hand for each called unit, and you discard it. Now, I thought this card wasn't that great at all, until I started using it with Knight of Power Charge, and then now I think that this card is broken. So you can literally bind your entire hand, get 3 units off of Brave Lancer for free, so you don't have to call a board, and then you can literally make sure your board disappears by the end of the turn so that your opponent doesn't do anything to your units during their turn. Like decks that are very popular right now, Kagero, Link Joker, Narukami, Gear Chronicle, and Night Rose, like all those decks can do stuff to your field, and sometimes you don't want a field because they're just going to do things to it anyways. Now in the case of Gear Chronicle, you can leave some units on the field and they can feel free to put back your units if they want and get punished for it, but that's up to them. Its other ability is when your unit attacks, that unit gets plus 3,000 power as long as you're in Brave. So basically, when you're in Brave and all your rearguards are attacking, they're all 12k if they're 9k grade 2. So all your grade 2s automatically with that can hit Vanguard, which is pretty good. Then we run 2 Transcending the Heavens Altmile. This guy's also really good. If you guys watched my deck interview with Adam Meha, he's a Altmile Brave player, and he talked about how this card is his favorite card, and after playing it, like, I could definitely see why. You just counterboss 1 and you flip a G-Zone unit, which is usually Altmile, the original Altmile, and then you get to call a grade 2 when it attacks, and it gets plus 5,000 power, and then your front row gets 2k for every aerial divine Altmile in your G-Zone. So basically, once you use it the first time, you should be once you use it the first time, you should be at plus 6k to your front row. When you use it the second time, you should be at plus 8 to your front row. Assuming that you always go into Altmile first. Then we have 3 of the new card, Holy Dragon, Luminous Hope Dragon. Now, originally I wasn't going to run this card because I didn't think that it was that great. But honestly, if you can do the same thing with Holy Lancer Dragon than you can with Luminous Hope, and Luminous Hope will actually just gain a critical if there are 2 or more cards with the Brave ability in your G-Zone face up. So let's say that you use Brave Lancer twice, or you even use Luminous Hope once, or flip Luminous Hope using Transcending the Heavens Altmile, and you've already gone into Brave Lancer, then you can just get the full ability of Luminous Hope, and it's really great. You could also choose to use the first skill, which is to turn a unit face up, a G unit, and then at the end of your turn, or until the end of your turn, for every Luminous Hope in your G zone, this unit gets plus 10,000 power, and all your rear guards with Brave get 1,000 power, so that's pretty great. We have Sabreeze, pretty standard in Generation Break decks. Then we have 2 E-Grain, the Altmile G-Guardian, so in Brave it gets 5,000 shield, and then when you place it on Guard Circle and you have an Altmile Vanguard, then you can Soul Blast one and it gets plus 10,000 shield, which is very good. Very good. There's been so many times where that saved me actually. And having a 36k shield for just a Soul Blast is amazing. And then if you're in Brave, it's 41k shield, so it's awesome. And by 41k shield, I mean combined with your 11k Vanguard. So then we have 2 Laser Guard Dragons, very generic. Nothing to say about those. But yeah, with that being said, let's get right into the matches. And also, while I'm pulling this up, I guess I should also mention, I'm going to be doing Sunday live streams for my patrons. So if you want to come by, if you want to become a patron for as little as $1 a month or something like that, you can feel free to come by my Sunday stream and watch my Sunday stream, ask me questions, watch me test stuff, get my opinions on things, and so on and so forth. And with that being said, let's do the matches. Alright, so we are playing against Dark Irregular in this first match. It's a Mon, which is pretty interesting. I end up going first, so I ride Hopekeeper, and I push my starter back. He draws for his turn, and then he rides the Amon grade 7k. Oh no. Oh wow, so my Cardfight area just aborted, so maybe I have to like download the new copy of Cardfight area or something. So with that being said, we'll cut this video short and we'll be right back, guys, and I'll just combine the clips. What up, guys? We are back. I just downloaded the new Cardfight area and we are going to see if it works. So we can deck load our Altmile deck. Well, we don't need to deck load, we could just watch the first replay. There we are. Okay, so I don't think we're going to have any problems this time since I downloaded the new area. So like I was saying before, I go first, I ride Hopekeeper, they draw, and then they ride the Amon grade 1, so I'm playing against Amon. I no guard, they check, I hit a Binon, which is kind of unfortunate, I would have liked to draw that. But I do play my rear guard, I attack him for 9, he guards it, and I attack him for 14, he one passes me, I get it, which is foolish on his part, in my opinion. He plays 2 of them on grade 2, I block the first one, take the second one, and then I ride it Altmile, and I just attack him 9 again, he takes it this time, attack 16, 1 to pass, which I put power to my Vanguard and stand the rear guard, and I attacked 9 and did him 1 damage. He rides Amon, which is automatically 12k power because of Amon's ability. I guard the rear guard once again, and then he attacks my Vanguard, and I no guard. He gets a heal, which I'm pretty sure saved him from instant death. But I do use Altmile's skill to call a card and give it plus 4k, and then I stride into Altmile. I use Altmile to call a card and then give my Brave card plus 4k, which was Salgol. Salgol's skill also activates. Electos Brave skill, rest it and give 3k, and then I called another Salgol, and it was activating its skill. So I decided not to use the starter because I'm already in Brave. So I attack with one side, then I attack with the other, and I decide to call Slayman. Slayman's in Brave, and also gets 3k from other Altmiles, so I counterblast one, I discard a card, and I attack him for 15, and I call another grade 2, which was red on this time, which means, and since Slayman got called by the other grade 2, it returns to my hand. So I check 1, check 2, check 3, and both Salgos go back to my deck. I draw a card, and yeah, then he draws and he can't stride. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, I just took this one, and then I no-guarded the Vanguard to give him a chance to double crit me, but unfortunately didn't double crit. Or I guess I should say fortunately. Then he just says GG, and yeah, the opponent quit here. He was obviously not going to survive anything I did beyond this. I was about to go into Transcending the Heavens Altmile, since I had plenty of cards in my hand. But yeah, that was the end of the first game. And I guess I had like a lot of people mention like, oh, you're not playing against like a real deck when you're trying these out. Well, I just like accept random like challenges on Cardfight area when I'm doing the test for these. So in my opinion, I think that it is kind of a real challenge because you never know what someone's gonna sit down and play against you in real life. It might be easy, it might be hard. So I just take the matches as they come. But we're going into the second game. We're actually playing against Narukami, which is, I hate playing against this clan. Actually, it's like really aggravating in my opinion. But he rides, I ride Damascus, and I attack him for 12. I get a Slayman, not bad, not bad. He attacks me for 14. I no guard. And then I play red on, and I call 2 grade 2s. Then I go 9 to his Vanguard, 9 to his Vanguard again. He has 2 draw triggers. And then I attack him and he heals, which made all of that useless. So then he calls a board of his own. Then he attacks my rear guard for 9. Attacks my rear guard for 16, so I no guard. He does triple drive, but you know, I take a damage and then I put power in my Vanguard and he can't attack me. So I ride here and I stride into Altmile. I use Altmile skill to call a card, give Brave Unit Slayman plus 4k, and then they all get 3k because of Altmile. I use the Brave skill of Electos to give 3k to a unit, and then I activated the skill to draw. I attack him with this counterblast 1, soul blast 1, and I call a Brave unit. This time it's going to be red on. Red on gets 3k from its own skill, and then 3k from Altmile, and also giving 3k to the other things in my column. So I check 1 crit, and I check nothing else for my triggers. He's at 21. I attack his rear guard Shatura for 20. And then he guards it for 15k because I guess he really wants it that bad. I end my turn doing Electo skill, and that's that turn. So he strides with a PG and a grade 2, pretty awful. I know that I have a PG in my hand, and I always just PG Narukami strides because they just help advance their game states so much more. But I don't really remember if I PG'd this or not because I need damage. So yeah, I did no guard. Yeah, so I no guarded. I took 1 damage. I retire that, and then he gets to choose to unbind. So right now in my drop zone, as you can see, I have like a crit, a stride fodder, Electos, and 2 grade 2s, and he chose my grade 2s as if I have a way to, you know, put them back or anything like that. So I just chose the to guard with that one. And then what I do this turn is I use Altmile skill to call a card and give it plus 4k. So I call Damascus. Then I stride into Brave Lancer. So then I use Altmile skill to give another 4k to Damascus, and then I play Power Charge, and then I use Power Charge skill to bind my entire hand. And I put them back to my deck so my opponent wouldn't see when I bind them or whatever. It's like this stupid thing where it shows them, but yeah. So right here, I was checking something. I don't really remember what I was checking. I think I was checking what cards I had left in my deck. So I attacked, I kind of lost one, and I get to call 3 cards, which I end up calling red on, Salgo and Salgo. So it's pretty great. Attacking for 26, he PGs. So then I check the drive checks. I get a heal, I get a crit, I put all to the right side, and then Brave Lancer's Brave Skill activates, giving 3k, he PGs that one as well, and then I go 14 to his Vanguard. In phase, he's left foot no cards in his hand, and I decide to use Salgol, shuffle draw, and then Damascus, counter charge 2 and draw 1, and then I get to get all my cards back and draw a card. So right now we're pretty ahead of our opponent. This deck is very, very aggressive in my opinion, but also very good at keeping hand at the same time. So he attacks me for 16. And then he uses the crit to go up to 21, then I no guard, and he does not check double critical, but I do check a heal. So then I just use Altmile skill to call Stride into another Holy Lancer Dragon, because I have another power charge in my hand. Yeah, so at this point it's pretty much like, you know, why not? I do attack him for 16, and he guards with 2. Then I attack him. In hindsight, I should have attacked him first with, well, I guess he just took it, but when I attacked him with Brave Lancer, I was going to call more cards, so yeah. So he ends up saying GG, takes a bunch of fodder damage, I guess. I'm not really sure what to call it. Like when your opponent takes a bunch of damage because they know they lost anyways. I guess I'll call it rage damage. No, I'm just kidding. He probably wasn't mad. It's just a game after all, right, guys? But anyways, we're going into game 3, and we're actually playing a mirror match, which is very interesting, except this guy is using the new stuff. So I attack him for 12, he gets Hopestalk Angel off, and calls Grennis, and I throw down a 10k, and then I guard his 15 as well, because I don't want to take any damage early. Attack him 9, he hits a trigger, then he no guard, or he no passes me, and then he chooses to stay on grade 2, and so I just took all the damage that he had for me, just so that I could Sabreeze him. So I counterblast 2, I call, and then I call using Altmile skill, and Brave skill I give 3k to my rear guard. I attack him for 12, and then I attack for 26, I get a crit, and a PG. So we put him to 5 damage pretty early on. Then he rides Orhan which at first I was like, how stupid, doesn't he have an Altmile to ride? But then I didn't realize that when you use the starter, um, when you use the starter skill on your opponent's turn with the Ordon, apparently your Vanguard gets plus 3k. So it was pretty good because it halted a lot of my combos. So he used Power Charge here to bind his entire hand. And then he used Danish skill to counterboss one that gets 2k. And then at the end of the turn he chooses another rearguard with the Brave ability and returns it to the hand. I take the first one. I also take the second one. He does not check any triggers, so I take another damage. And then I guard his 17 with the 10k. He uses Damascus to countercharge one and unflip 2 and draw a card. And then he gets all his cards back from Danish, or he returns one from Danish and he gets all his cards back from Power Charge. So I do stride, but first I use Altmile skill during the ride phase to call a unit and give it plus 4k, or give a Brave unit plus 4k. So then I stride into Altmile. We are GB2, so we get to use Altmile skill to call from our hand, and then actual Altmile gets to call a card from the deck. So we decided to call Slayman. So the board is all set up and ready to go. I do use the starter skill to counterboss one, put into the soul, and make all Brave skills active for the rest of the turn. He uses his Brave skill as well to make his Vanguard 14k base, which was impressive, I will say. So I attack with no skill, he PGs, and then I attack for 20k using skill to call a Brave card, and I called Red on. Then I attacked his Vanguard for 34, he PG'd, so we are getting a lot of cards out of his hand. I do check a heal, which requires him to, he does D-guard. I guess just because he dropped the card from his hand. And then I Salgle, and I draw a card, I shuffle my stand trigger back to deck. He strides into Luminous Hope Dragon, so thank goodness I have PGs in my hand, aka he plays Knight of Cast from his hand, which is interesting. It's an interesting little tech card. I don't run it, but I do think that it's an okay card. So he uses Luminous skill to give plus 20,000 to his Vanguard and flip a Brave unit face up. So he attacks my rearguard, and then he attacks with Luminous Hope. Luminous Hope allows him to call a grade 2. He decides to call Hope Song Angel and uses his ability to counterboss one, soul boss one. I decided to PG his Vanguard, which was the good decision because he had a crit innately, and then he checked another one. So he checked crit, stand crit, so I was like, I wanted to at least take 1 damage, but unfortunately we cannot. So I guard with Laser Guard, and then I do guard, yeah, and then I do G-Guard again into the girl E-Grain. So I soul blast one, it gets plus 5,000 shield, and then I use a 5k to block. Unfortunately, I wasn't Brave there, because I would have had plus 5k automatically. So he's done with his turn. I stride, after I use Red on skill, that is. And I stride into Altmile, strangely enough. So I use Altmile skill. I guess it's not strangely enough because I don't have anything else to use because I don't have counterblast. But I do give 4k to the Red-Ons using skill, and they get 3k to the front row. And then I called an Albion to the back row just because. And then I moved my Red-On to the back because it would make my front row bigger. because both red-ons would be affecting this Albion, and then I played a Salvo from my hand, so that I could draw some cards off of it. And then I attack his Vanguard for 23, because we do run stand triggers. He guards with 15, and then I attack him for 29. He G-guards using the new G-guard, so he flips a G-guardian face up, being dismal, and then he gets, yeah, this unit gets plus 10,000 shield, so it's 36. Yeah, so he's 40k because of the Brave skill of Ordon, or whatever that card's name is. So because I'm 29, I actually do hit a guard stage. But he intercepts to make it a 3 to pass. And I check 1, check 2, and check 3. Unfortunately, no triggers. But I do attack with his rear guard, and then I draw a card. He does get to stride here, which is really, really unfortunate for me. He goes into Luminous Hope again, which I guess I should say thank goodness, because he could have gone to a much more aggressive stride in my opinion. But he used Encourage Angel to send it back to the deck and give 2 units 3k. And then his Vanguard just becomes massive with the crit. So pretty much my chances for this is him checking no crits during his drive check, or else I would not be able to guard that attack. But I do PG. He checks a stand trigger and a crit trigger and puts it all to the other side. So like the very smart man he is, he attacks my rear guard knowing my drive checks, and then attacks my Vanguard knowing that I cannot guard it. So I take 2 damage, and I actually do lose the mirror match, which, you know, was unfortunate. But Ordon really carried him through that matchup. I could see that card being really good against, like, Cure Chronicle or anything like that. That card, like, really turned the tables on me, and I didn't know, not that I didn't know how to get around it, but, like, I just couldn't get around it, basically, because I couldn't call additional cards and have them attack for like 11, 12, the very small useless numbers, because it was 14. So yeah, so I was gonna end the video there, but because I haven't given you guys a video in about a week, I did record a special Chrono versus Shion match, so I call it. And then we're gonna go through that game right now. So it was a pretty fun game between me and my opponent. I'm obviously playing Gears here, and I think it's like it will supplement all, for all of you that say that I'm not playing real decks during the playtests. So he attacks me with Mellum. I do no guard, I get a crit, and put power in my Vanguard. Then I have to ride Benon, which is really unfortunate, but I do get a crit, which is fortunate. But then he does get a draw, which is unfortunate for me. So he Calibombs my starter back to the deck, plays a crit to boost it. I no guard, and I check my starter, so that I was like, what? Because I shuffled a billion times. So I do attack his Vanguard for 9, then 11, he no guards. I get a crit. So he does go to 4 damage. And then he rides and strides into Metallica Phoenix. And because of it, he can't use the air water that's in his hand. And so I guess he just decides to time leap Chrono Dran into a grade 3 and a grade 1. So he goes into Mesh Kia and gets Chrono Jet G off of Dran and uses the crit skill to put it to the soul, and then uses Meshkia skill to rest and draw a card. Then he checks a heal and a crit, so that was pretty good on his part, but I also heal, and then I just guard his last attack of the turn. So then I use Altmile skill to call a card to the field, it gets +4, and then I stride into Altmile. Altmile skill gives +4. And then I attack, discarding a card. I didn't want to discard my Knight of Power charge because I like that card a lot, so I discarded a crit. It does get 3k, and then he does head around my Albion, which is pretty interesting. I shuffle my deck and hope for a good card, and got Hopekeeper out of it. So since Brave is active, Hopekeeper does activate. So then I check 3. I do get a heal trigger, going down even more so damage. He does heal too, and then I return the PG to my deck. So that was very good. Now he is next staging me, which I can't really say if that's the best option or not, seeing as what damage I'm at. But he does get to use his water. He draws 2 grade 3s off of it. That's really crappy. And then he puts back his trigger. And then he plays Mellum and History Maker. I mean, Mellum and Upstream. Ha. I'm so used to saying Mellum and History Maker together. But then he attacks me for 20. I do guard it. And then he uses a TikTok to get a grade 1 at rest and a grade 3. Then he attacks me for 26. I no guard. He checks a crit. I do go up in damage. He discards 2 grade 3s and a Mellum to have his Vanguard be kind of massive. I do PG this one. And he does check a heal, which makes me wary. But I G-guard into Laser Guard Dragon. So then I stride. I did forget to use Altmile skill. Or actually, I didn't forget to use Altmile skill. I was going to use it for Brave Lancer Dragon. So I'm pretty sure Brave Lancer Dragon will put me back in the game right here. I do counterboss 1, and I call 3 cards, being all stand triggers. He does head around my grade 2, so that's interesting. And then I call a Hopekeeper off of it again, getting Brave. So I check a heal trigger, I go down 1, and then I attack him for 11, and then I attack him for 23, and then in phase skill, I counterblast 1, and move the PG back to my deck, and then I'm using all the stand triggers to draw cards, and then I get my hand back from power charge and draw cards. So as you can see, I just went from like a near nothing hand to a pretty massive hand. He does go into Gear Groovy here. He time leaps into History Maker. He does Soul Blast to flip Ragnarok. Yeah, he does Soul Blast to flip Ragnarok. And he attacks me for 13. I guard with 5. And then he attacks me with his Vanguard. So I do PG that. And he checks a crit, all to rear guard. And then he checks a heal, also all to rear guard, which like is the thing about gears that like really irritates me. Like they seem to heal every turn, and I realize that's because they put like triggers back to their deck, but it's so annoying when you're about to kill them and you have like a great plan for killing them next turn, and then they just go down to 4 and have a Gear Chronicle G-Guard like at their fingertips, which sucks, but you know, it is what it is. He doesn't check that great after that. So he does time leap, grade 1 into upstream, and then I G-guard that, and I soul boss 1 against plus 10k, and then I just take the last one and I do heal. So I have 7 cards in my deck, and History Maker goes back to the deck and he calls his grade 1. So then I can't really stride, but I'm like thinking about if striding is the best option. I decide that striding is the best option. I go into Transcending the Heavens Altmile, and I call. I do kind of also want to activate Transcending skill, and I attack him for 19. I kind of boss 1, soul boss 1, and look at my deck, and I call a card. He does get a draw trigger and draws a PG, which is really unfortunate for me. But he guards 5, and then I attack and call another Albion for my deck. So he PGs. I check 1, check 2, and check 3. Got nothing. And then I attack for 16, and then he drops 2 cards to stride. And goes into Chronos Command Revolution this time, but doesn't use the skill. So he attacks me 33. He doesn't use the skill because he would put back my grade 2 rear guards, and he doesn't want that. And I was trolling him a little bit, begging him please to send my units back. He does get a crit, a draw, and delayed laser. So then he attacks 17 and then 14. I do use Altmile skill to call a card and stride. Now it looks like I have 2 cards in my deck, but like I've stated in previous videos, Area doesn't keep track of whenever you send, or sorry, OBS and Area, like, they have this weird thing where it doesn't keep track of how many cards are actually in the deck. Or maybe it's just the replays in general. But I did attack him with Transcending. He flips, and then I check 3 cards. Like, you can see that I have like quote-unquote 0 cards in my deck, but I did just check out of the deck zone. So he puts back a trigger. I put back my stand and I draw, and then he strides into another next stage, which I'm pretty sure I'm dead this turn because of him doing that. So he draws 2, puts 1 back, and then he puts the guard to the soul, and then he plays Mellum down on the board. Or not Mellum, History Maker. So I guard, then I'm forced to no-guard the Vanguard, which he checks crit, heal, PG. So I take a damage. Oh yeah, so he couldn't use the next stage skill because he had 1 card left in his deck, and I got a stand trigger giving power to my Vanguard. So then he attacks my rear guard and literally can't do anything about it. So I just guard with 2 cards, and that's that. He decks out because he would just pass turn, and then I would pass turn to him. So the Gears player ended up decking out before me. It was a pretty fun game, all in all. It's a very fun deck to play, very competitive, very strong, strong hand advantage, strong aggression. If I had to give it a rating, I would say that this would get a Josh 9.4. Yeah, 9.4 out of 10 rating. This is just my personal opinion on it. But let me know if you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe as usual. Check out all the cool stuff in the description down below. We have everything from tournament announcements to companies that are really cool, sell cards down there, and Patreon, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. But definitely, you guys, check out or keep be posted with my videos. Our local store, Wasteland Gaming, is going to be hosting a $500 tournament every single month, and if it gets bigger, it could possibly be like even more money and more people. So if you're in the surrounding states of Georgia, you know, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, come on out and give us a shout. So I'm going to announce the next time there is a Wasteland $500 tournament on the channel, and you guys will just be able to come out. But without being said, that has been the video for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys later. Bye.